Tonight, tuck yourself in, let your shoulders soften, and allow your breath to slow. There is nowhere you need to be right now. Just rest here, gently, as you drift off into something quiet and curious. Every night, without any effort at all, your mind builds entire worlds while you sleep. Vivid, strange, and deeply felt. But what exactly are dreams? There is something that happens to you every single night. Something that has been happening since before you can remember. Since childhood, since infancy, perhaps even before that. You close your eyes, the world around you goes quiet, and somewhere deep inside the privacy of your own mind, another world begins to open. Colors, voices, places, feelings. A story that no one else can see or touch or hear. And then morning comes, and most of it dissolves like mist, leaving you with only the faintest impression that something, somewhere, was happening. We call this dreaming. And it is one of the most universal, most intimate, and most mysterious things that human beings do. Every person you have ever met has dreamed. Every culture in recorded history has wondered about dreams, has told stories about them, has tried to interpret them, has looked to them for meaning and guidance and warning. Ancient Egyptians believed dreams were messages from the gods. The Greeks built temples where the sick would sleep, hoping for healing visions. For thousands of years, across every corner of the world, human beings have sensed that whatever happens in the dreaming mind is somehow significant. And yet, for all of that time, the question of what dreams actually are has never been fully, satisfyingly answered. Even now, with all of modern neuroscience at our fingertips, with brain imaging and sleep labs and decades of careful research, dreams remain one of the great open questions of science. They are hiding in plain sight, tucked inside the most ordinary experience of all, sleep. And we still cannot say with certainty why they happen or what, if anything, they are truly for. But here is what we do know, and some of it is quietly remarkable. On an average night, you spend roughly 2 hours dreaming. The individual dreams themselves tend to last somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes, though they can feel much shorter or much longer than that. Over the course of a lifetime, if you live to a typical age, you will have spent somewhere close to 6 full years in the dreaming world. 6 years of landscapes and conversations and feelings and stories, all unfolding entirely within your own mind. entirely invisible to everyone around you. Think about that for a moment. 6 years. That is longer than most of us spend in primary school, longer than many relationships last. A significant, quiet chapter of every human life lived in a place that does not exist on any map. And what fills those dreams? More often than you might expect, it is simply your own life, reflected back at you in a slightly altered form. Researchers have found that roughly 63% of our dreams are rooted in the experiences of our waking lives. The people we know, the places we have been, the worries and hopes and small daily moments that make up who we are. Your dreams are, in many ways, a kind of companion to your waking experience, a shadow that walks alongside you, made not of darkness but of memory and feeling and imagination, all woven loosely together. And then there is the quality of it, the texture of the experience itself. Nearly a third of adults describe their dreams as startlingly realistic. Not vaguely dreamlike, not obviously strange, but genuinely convincing. You are there. You believe it completely. The air feels real. The voices sound real. The emotion is as vivid and immediate as anything you experience with your eyes open. And then you wake, and it takes a moment, sometimes a long, disorienting moment, to find the seam between what was real and what was not. That is perhaps what makes dreams so endlessly fascinating. They are not something exotic that happens to rare or unusual people. They are not reserved for mystics or poets or those with particularly vivid imaginations. They happen to all of us every night, quietly and reliably, with no effort required on our part. You do not have to do anything to dream. You simply have to let sleep come. And yet, for all their ordinariness, dreams resist easy explanation. They slip through the fingers of our understanding in a way that very few other experiences do. Science has illuminated so many corners of human biology and human behavior. But here, in the sleeping mind, there is still something genuinely open. Still something that invites wonder. That is the spirit in which we are going to explore them tonight. Not with clinical distance, but with a kind of gentle curiosity, an appreciation for how strange and beautiful it is that this happens to you, that it has always happened to you, every single time you close your eyes and let yourself drift. And to understand where dreams come from, we need to first descend a little deeper into the architecture of sleep itself, into the quiet, layered world your body and mind move through each night before the dreaming truly begins. Close your eyes for a moment if you haven't already. Take a slow breath in and let it go. Because right now, we're going to do something rather wonderful. We're going to trace the path your mind and body take each night as you drift away from the waking world. A quiet descent through 4 distinct stages of sleep, each one drawing you a little deeper, a little further from the surface. Think of sleep not as a single state, but as a landscape, a place with different elevations, different textures, different qualities of stillness. And every night, without any effort on your part, you travel through all of it. It begins at the threshold. Stage 1 is that delicate gossamer moment when waking starts to loosen its hold. You're not quite asleep, but you're no longer quite awake either. Your muscles begin to soften. Your eyes, if you were to let them, would roll slowly beneath your eyelids. Your breathing evens out, and deep inside your brain, something shifts. The quick, sharp electrical waves of an alert, thinking mind begin to slow. They become longer, more languid, like the difference between choppy water and a wide, calm river. This stage lasts only a few minutes, and yet it is one of the most tender transitions in all of human experience. Sometimes, just as you're settling into that softness, something startles you back. A sudden twitch, a jolt, almost like missing a step. This is called a hypnic jerk, and it's entirely normal, though no one is entirely certain why it happens. One idea is that as your body begins to release its waking tension, the brain briefly misreads the relaxation as a kind of falling and sends a small alarm signal to the muscles. And just like that, you're back at the surface for a moment before the current of sleep gently draws you under again. Stage 2 is a settling in. The body begins to cool. Your core temperature drops slightly as though you are being carefully prepared for rest. Your heartbeat slows. Your breathing finds a steady, unhurried rhythm. And in the brain, something rather beautiful occurs. Tiny, rapid bursts of electrical activity flicker through the mind, almost like sparks from a fire, here and then gone, here and then gone. Scientists call them sleep spindles. They appear to play a role in consolidating memories, in helping the brain quietly file away the experiences of the day. Stage 2 makes up a significant portion of your total sleep time. and it is a place of quiet, industrious stillness, and then deeper still. Stage 3 is the floor of sleep, the place of deepest rest, the most profoundly restorative territory your body visits each night. Here, the brain's electrical activity becomes slow and sweeping. These are called delta waves, and if you could somehow see them, they would look like great rolling swells moving across the surface of a dark ocean, wide, powerful, unhurried. This is slow wave sleep, and it is here that the body does some of its most important work. Tissue is repaired, muscles are rebuilt. The immune system is quietly strengthened. Growth hormone is released. Your body uses this time the way a careful groundskeeper tends a garden after hours, restoring, replenishing, preparing for the next day. It is worth knowing that sleepwalking and night terrors, those experiences that feel so vivid and distressing, do not belong to the world of dreams. They arise here, in this deep, slow stage, when the brain is in a very different state from the one that generates dreaming. They are not dreams. They are something else entirely, rising up from the depths of slow wave sleep. But we are not done descending. Stage 4 brings us to REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. And here, something remarkable happens. After all that stillness, all that depth and quiet, the brain does something unexpected. It wakes up. Not truly, not completely, but the electrical activity in the brain during REM sleep looks astonishingly like that of someone who is fully awake and engaged with the world. If you were to look at a brain scan from this stage without knowing its context, you might never guess the person was asleep at all. The eyes, still closed, begin to move. Quick, darting movements beneath the lids, as though watching something unfold just behind them. And the body, as if in recognition of what is about to happen, becomes temporarily still. The major muscles are gently paralyzed, a protective mechanism, most scientists believe, to prevent you from physically acting out what your dreaming mind is experiencing. You are held quietly in place while the mind roams freely. And it is here, in REM sleep, that most of our vivid narrative dreaming takes place. Now, here is something that might surprise you. You do not visit each of these stages just once each night. Instead, you cycle through them over and over, like a tide moving in and out. Each full cycle, from the lightest stage of sleep all the way through REM and back again, takes roughly 90 minutes. Over the course of a full night's rest, most people complete 4 to 6 of these cycles. 4 to 6 complete journeys from the surface to the depths and back again. And within those cycles, something shifts as the night goes on. In the early part of the night, the deep, slow wave sleep of stage 3 dominates. Your body prioritizes physical restoration first. But as the hours pass and dawn begins its slow approach, the balance changes. The REM periods, those bright, dream-rich windows, grow longer and more vivid with each cycle. Your first REM period of the night may last only 10 minutes or so. But by the final cycle, just before you wake, REM sleep can stretch to nearly an hour. This means that most of your richest, most complex, most memorable dreaming happens not in the first hours of sleep, but in the second half of the night. In those quiet hours before morning, as your body rests and the world outside is still, your dreaming mind reaches its fullest expression. You have now traveled the whole architecture of sleep, from the soft edge of waking, down through the gradual depths, and into the luminous territory of REM. And it is here, in that lit and living space, that dreams truly begin. So the question naturally arises, what exactly is happening inside the brain in those moments? What is it that turns the sleeping mind into a stage for stories, emotions, and impossible landscapes? That is exactly where we are headed next. Close your eyes for a moment. Well, perhaps not quite yet. And imagine your brain not as something resting, but as something quietly, purposefully alive. A vast building at night, most of its lights dimmed, and yet in certain rooms, certain corridors, a warm glow still burns. Doors open and close softly. Figures move between rooms. Something important is happening, even in the dark. That is your brain during REM sleep. That is the dreaming mind at work. Let's take a gentle stroll through those lit corridors together. We begin deep inside the brain, in a small almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as the brain's emotional heart, the place that colors experience with feeling. During REM sleep, the amygdala doesn't rest. It glows. It hums with some of the highest activity levels seen anywhere in the sleeping brain. And this is why, when you dream, the feelings arrive first and arrive fully. The sudden rush of joy upon seeing someone you love. The creeping dread as a hallway stretches impossibly long. The grief that wakes you with a wet face and a hollow chest. These emotions aren't echoes or shadows of real feeling. In the dreaming brain, they are real feeling. The amygdala makes sure of that. Just nearby, the hippocampus is busy in a different way. If the amygdala is the heart of the dreaming brain, the hippocampus is its librarian, endlessly sorting, cataloging, and connecting. During REM sleep, it replays fragments of recent experience and weaves them gently into older memories. Like a seamstress stitching new cloth into an old beloved quilt. A face you saw yesterday might appear, almost unrecognizably, braided into a memory from childhood. A place you visited last week might suddenly share its corridors with a house you haven't thought about in years. The hippocampus is not being careless. It is doing its nightly work, consolidating, organizing, making sense of the river of experience that flows through a waking life. And while all of this feeling and remembering is underway, your visual cortex is painting. Eyes closed, the outside world completely dark and still. And yet the visual cortex floods with activity, generating imagery of startling richness and detail. Sweeping mountain landscapes, the particular texture of a stranger's coat, faces of people you know intimately, and faces of people you've never met, rendered in perfect living clarity, impossible buildings that spiral upward through clouds. The visual cortex does not need light from the world to do its work. It simply creates. It reaches inward and builds the scenery of your dream from scratch. And it does so with all the care and color of a waking vision. Now, here is something quietly wonderful to consider. During your waking hours, when your mind drifts and wanders, when you stare out a window and find yourself lost in thought, constructing little imagined futures, replaying conversations, spinning stories from nothing, a particular network in your brain is active. It's called the default mode network. And during dreaming, this same network is very much at work. It is the default mode network, researchers believe, that gives dreams their strange, story-like quality. That feeling of being somewhere, of moving through events, of a loose but undeniable narrative unfolding around you. It is the quiet author behind the dream, stitching scenes together with invisible thread, lending your inner world its peculiar drifting coherence. Your parietal lobes, too, are contributing something essential. They are the reason a dream doesn't feel like watching a film, but like being inside one. They support your sense of space, your feeling of embodiment, the sensation of walking across a room and feeling the floor beneath your feet, or of rising upward and looking down over a glittering city from impossible heights. The parietal lobes place you inside the dream. They make it feel like somewhere real that you are actually fully inhabiting. And then we come to perhaps the most fascinating piece of this quiet puzzle. The part of the brain that falls nearly silent during REM sleep. The prefrontal cortex sits just behind your forehead, and during waking life, it is your inner editor, your rational voice, your reality checker. It is the part of you that raises an eyebrow and says, "That doesn't make sense." During dreaming, it steps away, it dims, it rests. And this is why, when a cat speaks to you calmly in your dream, you simply listen. When you find yourself suddenly transported from a kitchen to a mountaintop with no explanation, you accept it without question. When a building rearranges its own rooms as you walk through it, you simply walk on. The inner voice that would flag these things as impossible has gone quiet for the night. And so the dreaming mind, free from scrutiny, follows its own soft logic. And that logic feels, in the moment, completely and utterly real. There is also a region called the temporoparietal junction, nestled at the meeting point of the temporal and parietal lobes, which plays a gentle role in the sense of self within a dream. That awareness, however fluid and shifting, that there is a you moving through these strange territories. It is part of why most dreams carry that first-person quality, that intimate feeling of presence, even when everything around you is shifting and strange. And through all of this, your brain is producing waves of real electrical activity, theta rhythms, alpha waves, even flickers of beta activity, usually associated with focused waking thought. Sleep, it turns out, is far less a retreat than it appears. Beneath the stillness of a closed face and a slow rising chest, a whole inner world is quietly, faithfully alive. Now that we've wandered together through the dreaming brain, through its lit rooms and humming corridors, its painters and librarians and silenced gatekeepers, a deeper question begins to drift forward, soft and unhurried. Why? Why does the brain go to all of this extraordinary trouble? What is the dreaming mind actually for? Let that question settle gently as we drift into the theories. Nobody knows exactly why we dream, and perhaps that is part of what makes dreaming so endlessly, quietly wonderful. But that hasn't stopped curious minds, scientists, philosophers, psychologists, from reaching toward an answer. Over time, they have offered us not one explanation, but many. A small constellation of theories, each one illuminating a different corner of the same great mystery. Tonight, let's walk among them together gently, without hurry. You don't need to decide which one is right. You only need to listen. The first idea is one that many scientists find deeply compelling, and it is perhaps the most peaceful image of them all. Imagine your brain late at night as a quiet librarian. The library is vast. Every shelf holds a memory, a sensation, a face, a feeling, a fact learned long ago. During the day, new things arrive in a rush, stacked at the front desk in no particular order. But when you fall asleep, the librarian gets to work. Slowly, carefully, it moves through the day's experiences, sorting them, cross-referencing them with older memories, filing some away into deep storage and letting others go. This is the memory consolidation theory of dreaming. The dreams you experience during this process may be the sound of that filing, fragments rising to the surface as they are handled, examined, and quietly put to rest. Studies have shown that people who sleep after learning something new remember it better than those who don't. The sleeping brain is not idle. It is working in the most tender, unhurried way, making sense of what you lived through. Closely related to this is another idea, one that has been called overnight therapy. During REM sleep, that rich, vivid dreaming phase, something remarkable seems to happen to our emotions. Difficult experiences, sharp with anxiety or grief or stress, appear to be processed and softened during the night. The memory of something painful is replayed, but in REM sleep, the body's stress chemistry is quieter than it is during the waking day. The theory suggests that this allows the emotional sting of an experience to be gradually reduced, separated from the raw feeling, filed away as information rather than wound. You may have noticed this yourself, going to bed with something heavy on your mind and waking to find it feels somehow slightly lighter. That may not be coincidence. That may be your dreaming brain gently doing its work. Now travel back further, much further, to a time before cities or language or anything we might call modern life. There is another theory that asks us to imagine our ancestors, early humans living in a world filled with real and immediate danger. The threat simulation theory proposes that dreams evolved as a kind of training ground, a safe rehearsal space hidden inside sleep where the mind could practice responding to threats, fleeing a predator, navigating unfamiliar terrain, facing conflict without any real-world consequence. The dream, in this view, is a flight simulator, a virtual reality constructed by an ancient brain to keep its owner sharp, practiced, alive. The fear you sometimes feel in a dream, the chase, the falling, the sense of danger. This theory says those feelings may be an echo of something very old, a mechanism honed over hundreds of thousands of years of survival. Then there is a newer and quite beautiful idea, one that arrived not from ancient evolutionary thinking, but from the world of artificial intelligence. It is called the overfitted brain hypothesis, proposed by neuroscientist Eric Howell. To understand it, consider how a machine learning system is trained. You feed it data, thousands of examples, and it learns patterns. But sometimes, if the system trains too long on the same data without variation, it becomes overfitted. It memorizes the examples so precisely that it loses the ability to respond flexibly to anything new. It becomes rigid, locked into what it already knows. Howell suggests that our brains face a similar risk. Each day we live in routine, the same commute, the same faces, the same patterns of thought. The brain, always learning, might begin to overtune itself to those routines, losing its flexibility. And so, he proposes, dreams inject strangeness. The bizarre combinations, the impossible rooms, the people who are somehow two people at once. This is not noise. This is the brain deliberately scrambling its own signal, introducing novelty to keep itself adaptable, creative, and alive to the unexpected. In this theory, the weirdness of dreams is not a malfunction. The weirdness is the point. Sigmund Freud, who spent much of his life peering into the depths of the unconscious mind, offered perhaps the most famous theory of all. For Freud, dreams were a royal road, his own phrase, a pathway into the hidden wishes and desires that the waking mind keeps carefully out of sight. He believed that the unconscious speaks in symbols and disguises, and that the strange imagery of dreams was not random but encoded, a language of the self that once translated would reveal the hidden life beneath the surface of everyday thought. Modern neuroscience has moved away from many of Freud's specific ideas, but his central intuition that dreams carry meaning, that they reflect something true and interior about us, still resonates in quiet ways. There is also a theory that takes a more mechanical view. The activation synthesis hypothesis, proposed in the 1970s by researchers J. Allen Hobson and Robert McCarley, suggests that during REM sleep, the brainstem fires bursts of essentially random electrical signals upward into the cortex. And the cortex, that part of the brain that is always, always trying to make sense of things, does its best to weave those signals into a story. In this view, the narrative of the dream is not a message. It is the brain's attempt to construct meaning from noise, like finding shapes in clouds. The dreaming mind as storyteller, improvising from random sparks. And then there are those who hold what might be called the epiphenomenal view, the idea that dreams serve no purpose at all, that they are simply a beautiful byproduct, a kind of light cast off by the sleeping brain as it goes about its necessary biological work. Not a message, not a rehearsal, not therapy, simply the glow of a mind that cannot quite go dark. There is something strangely peaceful about this idea, too, if you let it settle. A bloom of consciousness, quiet and purposeless, rising and fading in the night. Finally, at the cutting edge of neuroscience, there is the predictive processing model. The brain, in this framework, is understood as a prediction machine, constantly building and refining a model of the world, updating its expectations based on experience. Sleep, and dreaming in particular, may be a time when the brain actively tests and updates that model, running simulations, checking its assumptions, preparing itself for whatever tomorrow might bring. All of these ideas coexist, none yet victorious, each holding a piece of something we have not yet fully seen. Perhaps the truth, when it finally arrives, will borrow from all of them. And yet, long before any of these theories were written down, long before laboratories and neuroscience and sleeping electrodes, human beings were already asking this question. They were looking at their dreams and reaching for meaning. As we rest here in the gentle science of the modern world, it's worth remembering that this wondering is ancient. And on that thought, let us drift a little further back into the old world, where dreams were not studied but revered. Long before neuroscience gave us words like REM cycles and hippocampal consolidation, human beings were already asking the same question you might have asked yourself this very morning. What was that dream trying to tell me? That question is ancient. It is as old as sleep itself, and across every civilization, every continent, every era of human history, the dreaming mind has been treated as something worthy of reverence. A doorway, a messenger, a mirror held up to a part of ourselves we cannot easily see in waking life. Let us travel there together. Let us walk quietly through the long corridors of time. In ancient Egypt, dreams were not merely experiences, they were visitations. Messages arriving from gods, from the souls of the deceased, from a dimension of reality that lay just beyond the reach of ordinary waking eyes. To dream was to receive, and so the Egyptians listened carefully. Around 1275 BCE, someone set down what we now call the Dream Book, one of the oldest surviving dream interpretation manuals in human history. It was a papyrus document, meticulous in its detail, cataloging hundreds of dream scenarios and their meanings. If you dreamed of sinking into a river, it meant one thing. If you dreamed of your face in a mirror, it meant another. The Egyptians understood dreams to be a kind of language, symbolic, layered, requiring translation. And for those who needed answers urgently, healing, guidance, a word from the divine, there were temples. Sacred sleeping places where a person would lie down on consecrated ground, perform the proper rituals, and wait. They called this practice incubation, from the Latin word meaning to lie upon. You would sleep inside the temple, and the temple would do the rest. Priests were on hand to interpret what came. It was considered a perfectly reasonable thing to do, as ordinary as consulting a physician, and often intertwined with exactly that. The ancient Greeks took this further. The healing temples of Asclepius, god of medicine, were scattered across the ancient world, and within them the sick would sleep and dream, hoping to receive a cure, a remedy, a direction. And sometimes, they said, they did. In Greek literature, Homer drew a distinction that feels almost like poetry. He wrote of two gates through which dreams passed into the waking world. True dreams, the ones that would come to pass, arrived through a gate made of horn. False dreams, the ones that would deceive, passed through a gate of polished ivory. It is a beautiful image. The idea that the truth of a dream is determined not by its content, but by the very substance of its arrival. In the biblical tradition, dreams carried enormous weight. You will perhaps remember the story of Joseph, the young man sold into slavery by his brothers, who found himself in the court of Pharaoh not through wealth or warfare, but through his gift for interpreting dreams. Pharaoh dreamed of 7 fat cows, consumed by 7 thin ones, of 7 full ears of grain, swallowed by 7 withered ones. Joseph understood. He saw in these images a message about abundance and famine, about preparation and providence. And in doing so, he rose from prisoner to the second most powerful man in Egypt. A dream changed the course of history. Now let us travel further still, not forward in time, but sideways to a way of understanding that asks us to gently set aside our assumptions about what the word dream even means. In Indigenous Australian culture, the dream time, or dreaming, is something that does not map neatly onto the sleeping visions we have been describing. It is not about what happens when you close your eyes at night. It is something far larger and more foundational. The dreaming is a living dimension of reality, an ongoing, ever-present spiritual landscape in which ancestral beings shaped the land, the creatures, the laws, and the relationships that hold the world together. It is not past. It is not finished. It continues, woven into the country itself, into ceremony, into kinship, into the very ground beneath your feet. To speak of it as simply dreams would be like calling the ocean a puddle. It is a different order of understanding entirely, and it deserves to be held with care. And so we find ourselves, after all of this sweeping across centuries and continents, arriving at a particular study in a particular city at the turn of the 20th century. Vienna. A cigar, a leather couch, a man named Sigmund Freud, who looked at the dreaming mind and saw something no physician had quite articulated before. Freud called dreams the royal road to the unconscious. He believed that in sleep, the mind's usual senses relaxed, and that what flooded through in their absence were the hidden wishes, the buried desires, the unresolved conflicts that our waking selves worked so hard to keep below the surface. Dreams, for Freud, were not random. They were not noise. They were meaning in disguise, compressed, symbolic, always pointing somewhere. Not everyone agreed. And one of those who disagreed most thoughtfully was Freud's own brilliant student and eventual colleague, Carl Jung. Jung saw the dreaming mind not as a vault of repressed desire, but as something far more expansive. He believed that beneath the personal unconscious, the layer of our own individual memories and feelings, there lay something he called the collective unconscious. A deep reservoir shared by all human beings across all of time. A kind of underground river that every one of us draws from, whether we know it or not. And from that river rose what Jung called archetypes, recurring figures and forces that appear in dreams the world over, in every culture, in every age. The shadow, the parts of ourselves we do not wish to acknowledge. The anima and animus, the inner feminine and masculine. The wise old man, the great mother, the trickster. These were not inventions, they were discoveries, patterns so universal they seemed almost to be built into the human mind itself. Jung believed that dreams are compensatory, that they work to restore balance when our waking consciousness has leaned too far in one direction, become too rational, too rigid, too narrow. The dreaming mind, in this view, is not a disruption. It is a correction. A gentle, persistent nudging toward wholeness. And Jung did not only theorize, he lived this. For over a decade, he recorded his own dreams and visions in extraordinary detail, painting them, writing them, illuminating the pages by hand. This became the Red Book, kept private for decades after his death, and finally published in 2009. It is one of the most astonishing documents in the history of psychology, an interior world made visible, vast and strange and deeply, unmistakably human. Jung wrote that the dream is its own best interpreter, that it works on us whether or not we understand it. Like rain falling on a garden in the dark, nourishing, regardless of whether anyone is awake to watch. And now, from all of this deep time, from temples and papyrus and leather-bound journals, we return to something closer, something intimate and familiar, the dreams you have had. The ones that jolt you awake at 3 a.m, heart pounding. The ones that linger in the room with you while the coffee brews. The ones that feel less like random images and more like a conversation you were not quite prepared to have. Those dreams are waiting for us just ahead. There is something quietly extraordinary about the fact that every human being who has ever lived in every corner of the world, across every era of history, has closed their eyes at night and been carried somewhere else entirely. And when you begin to look closely at where dreams take us, you start to notice something remarkable. We don't all go to entirely different places. Many of us go to the same ones. You've probably been there yourself. You're flying, not in a plane, but on your own, arms perhaps outstretched, skimming above rooftops or drifting upward through cloud. Or perhaps you're running from something, though you can't quite see what it is, and your legs feel slow and heavy, as though moving through deep water. Maybe you've stood in a room full of people and looked down to realize you're wearing nothing at all. Or you've reached for your teeth and felt them loosen, crumble, fall away into your palm. These dreams, flying, being chased, teeth falling out, arriving somewhere too late, failing an exam you never ever prepared for, falling through the air with a sudden jolt, are among the most commonly reported dreams on Earth. They cross languages and oceans and centuries. They appear in ancient dream journals and in modern sleep lab surveys with almost uncanny consistency. More than 80% of people report having been chased in a dream at some point in their lives. 80%. That is not a quirk. That is something written into us. What these shared dreams seem to reflect are shared emotional landscapes, anxiety, vulnerability, freedom, the fear of losing control, the longing for it back. Dreams of flying are often linked to feelings of joy or liberation. Dreams of being chased tend to surface in times of stress or avoidance, something in waking life that we haven't quite turned around to face. Teeth falling out, which sounds so strange when you say it in daylight, appears again and again in people navigating transitions, losses, or worries about how they appear to the world. These symbols are not random noise. They are the emotional vocabulary of the sleeping mind, a language we all seem to share, even if no one quite taught it to us. And then there are the dreams that come back, the ones that find you again and again, sometimes years apart, like an old song you can't quite place. Recurring dreams are often the mind's way of circling something unresolved, a loop that plays until whatever emotional need it points toward is finally met. The need to feel safe, the need to feel capable, the need to belong somewhere or to someone. When the loop finally breaks, it often signals something quietly important has shifted inside you. But there is a stranger country still within dreams, and it is the one where you wake up inside the dream itself. You are dreaming, and suddenly you know it. The scenery is still there, the story still unfolding, and yet somewhere behind your eyes, a small candle of awareness has been lit. You are lucid. Lucid dreaming is not a new idea. Tibetan Buddhist monks have practiced something called dream yoga for over 1,000 years, a disciplined contemplative art of entering dreams consciously and using them as a space for spiritual and psychological exploration. The tradition treats the dream state not as an interruption of life, but as an extension of it, a place of genuine practice. Modern neuroscience has caught up in remarkable ways. When a lucid dream occurs, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for self-awareness, reasoning, and conscious thought, partially reawakens within the dream. It's as though a light turns on in one room of a house that was otherwise dark. The temporoparietal junction, involved in the sense of self and the awareness of one's own body, also shows increased activity. The dreamer becomes, in a precise neural sense, conscious of their own unconsciousness. And here is perhaps the most astonishing detail of all. Lucid dreamers can communicate with the waking world. Because the eyes are not paralyzed during REM sleep the way the rest of the body is, a trained lucid dreamer can move their eyes in deliberate patterns, left, right, as a kind of signal. Researchers watching in a sleep laboratory can see these movements and know someone is aware in there. In some extraordinary experiments, dreamers have even traced out words with their eye movements, and scientists in the waking world have decoded the messages. A sleeping mind reaching through to say, "I am here." We are not the only creatures who dream. Step softly past a sleeping dog sometime, and you may catch them twitching, their paws moving as though running, a low whimper escaping their throat. They are somewhere. Researchers at MIT recorded the brain activity of rats as they navigated a maze, and then watched as those same neural patterns replayed during sleep. The rats quite literally running the maze again in their dreams, retracing their steps in the dark. Chimpanzees have been observed making the hand gestures of sign language while they sleep, as though conversing with someone only they can see. And what of those who have never seen at all? People who are born blind dream without images, and yet their dreams are no less vivid for it. They are built instead of sound, and touch, and smell, and the felt sense of space, where a room ends, where a presence begins, the texture of a familiar surface beneath the hand. Dreams conform to whatever senses have mapped the world for the dreamer. The sleeping mind works with whatever it has been given, and it gives back something whole. There are dreams, too, that have changed the shape of the world we all live in. Dmitri Mendeleev, exhausted from days of struggling to organize the known elements, fell asleep at his desk and dreamed of a table in which all the elements fell into place of their own accord. He woke and wrote it down immediately, afraid to lose it. That arrangement became the periodic table. The chemist Auguste Kekulé had spent years trying to understand the structure of benzene. Then he dreamed of a snake coiling in the air and turning back upon itself, biting its own tail, and in that image recognized the molecular ring he had been searching for. Elias Howe, who was trying to design a working sewing machine, was stuck for years on a single problem: where to put the hole in the needle. He dreamed of being captured by warriors whose spears had holes near their tips. He woke, ran to his workshop, and the sewing machine became possible. Mary Shelley, lying awake in the strange half-sleep between waking and dreaming, saw a vision. A pale student of science kneeling beside a creature he had made, watching it stir. She opened her eyes in the dark and wrote down what she had seen. Frankenstein was born that night. Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali both recognized the threshold between waking and sleep as a place where the usual rules loosened, where connections formed that the disciplined daytime mind would never allow. Edison would nap in a chair holding steel balls in his hands, so that when he drifted off and his grip relaxed, the clatter of the balls on the floor would wake him just in time to catch whatever his mind had made at the edge of sleep. Dali did the same with a key and a plate. The dream is not a lesser state of mind. It is, in some ways, a freer one. We have wandered now through so much of the dream world, its shared landscapes, its private logic, its flashes of awareness, its gifts to science and art. But there is one final mystery waiting quietly at the edge of all of it. A mystery so ordinary that it happens to you every single morning, and yet so strange that science is only now beginning to understand it. You wake, and the dream is already gone. Not faded, vanished, as though it was never quite there at all. That disappearing act, and what it might mean, is where we wander next. There is something quietly poetic about the fact that we forget our dreams. You wake, and for a moment, just a moment, something vivid is still there. A color, a feeling, the faint outline of a place. And then, like mist burning off in early morning light, it is gone. You reach for it and find nothing. This is not a failure of your mind. It may, in fact, be something your brain is doing quite deliberately. Scientists have discovered a specific group of neurons deep in the hypothalamus, a small, ancient region near the center of the brain that becomes active during REM sleep, the stage most densely populated with dreams. These neurons appear to suppress the formation of new memories. Think of them as a kind of nighttime archivist who is quietly, gently locking the filing cabinets. Dreams are allowed to unfold in all their strangeness, but the doors to long-term storage remain closed. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain most responsible for organizing and stamping experiences into lasting memory, is largely offline during sleep. It dims, like a lamp turned low. Without it, the dream plays out beautifully, but leaves almost no trace behind. And then there is something called state-dependent memory. It is a curious feature of how we remember things. Memories formed in one state of mind, one particular chemical and emotional environment, are often easiest to retrieve when you return to that same state. Dreams are built inside a neurochemical world entirely unlike the one you wake into. The brain that dreams and the brain that remembers are, in a meaningful sense, two different brains. The dream belongs to one shore, and you wake on the other, with a wide river running between. Some people, though, do remember their dreams more often. Research suggests they tend to wake more briefly, just for a moment during the night, creating tiny windows in which a dream can be touched before it dissolves. Their brains also show greater activity in regions associated with attention and self-awareness. It is as though they have a slightly lighter hand on the door between sleeping and waking, and occasionally something slips through. What researchers are discovering at the frontier of dream science is extraordinary, and it is worth sitting with for a moment, even here, even now, as you settle towards sleep. There is now something called the Dream Database, a vast international repository pairing thousands of dream reports with detailed neural data. Scientists are beginning to map the landscape of the dreaming mind in ways never before possible, looking for patterns across cultures, across ages, across the full range of human experience. At Northwestern University, researchers have shown that sounds played softly during REM sleep can shape what a person dreams about. This is called targeted memory reactivation. A gentle tone, a subtle cue, and the sleeping brain reaches toward it, weaves it into the dream. More remarkably, when people dreamed about unsolved puzzles after being given those same cues, they were significantly more likely to solve them upon waking. Sleep, it seems, is not passive, it is working. The dreaming mind is quietly turning things out, finding edges, fitting pieces together in the dark. And perhaps most astonishing of all, researchers have now opened a two-way conversation with lucid dreamers. People who become aware they are dreaming and who have trained themselves to signal from within the dream using specific eye movements have answered questions in real time. They have confirmed mathematical answers, responded to spoken prompts, communicated across the boundary we once thought was impenetrable. The dreaming mind, it turns out, can hear us, and it can answer back. We are at the very beginning of of understanding what happens inside the sleeping mind. For all that science has illuminated, the stages, the neurons, the memory systems, the emotional processing, there remains a vast and humbling darkness. We do not fully know why we dream. We do not know with certainty what dreams are for. We cannot yet say with confidence what it feels like to be a mind asleep. And perhaps that is as it should be. There is something quietly magnificent about a mystery that endures, something that resists full explanation, that stays soft at the edges, that continues to surprise us. The dreaming mind has been with us for as long as there have been minds at all. It has visited every human who has ever lived, and yet it remains, in the most tender sense of the word, unknown. So tonight, as you feel your breath slow, as the weight of wakefulness begins to lift from your body, know that you are crossing toward that same ancient, uncharted place. The mystery is not something to be solved tonight. It is something to be entered gently and allowed to unfold in its own quiet way. Whatever waits for you on the other side of sleep, let it come. And so, here we are, the end of our gentle journey together, and the beginning of yours. As you lie here now, your body is already doing what it has done every single night of your life. Your muscles are softening, one by one, like a hand slowly releasing something it has held too tightly all day. Your heartbeat is finding its quiet, steady rhythm. Your breath is deepening, growing slow and wide and unhurried. You don't need to do anything at all. You simply need to allow it. In a little while, sooner than you might think, your brain will slip beneath the surface of wakefulness and begin its nightly work. It will move quietly through the events of your day, deciding what to keep and what to let go, filing memories gently into place like pages being sorted in some vast and patient library. It will smooth the rough edges of whatever you felt today, the worries, the tensions, the small frustrations, softening them through the night so that morning finds them a little lighter than you left them. And somewhere in the deeper hours, your dreaming mind will come alive. It may weave together the ordinary and the extraordinary without any concern for the difference. A familiar face and a place you have never been, a feeling you cannot quite name, and an image that makes perfect sense in the moment, even if you could never explain why. Dreams do not follow the rules of waking life, And that is perhaps the most beautiful thing about them. They are yours entirely, strange and private and wonderfully free. Some of what visits you tonight may be mundane. Some of it may be wondrous. A little of it might linger at the edges of your morning, but most of it will dissolve like mist in early light, slipping away before you can reach for it. And that is all right. It will have done its quiet, careful work all the same. It always does. You have spent this time learning something of the sleeping mind, its stages and its rhythms, its purpose and its poetry. And now it is time to stop listening and simply let yours do what it was always meant to do. So rest now. Let your thoughts grow soft and loose and slow. Let the darkness hold you gently. Wherever your dreaming mind takes you tonight, may it be somewhere kind. Sleep well, sweet dreams,